maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys, so today I am here to do a book review, and the book that I'm going to be reviewing is Legion and The Emperor's Soul, which are both by Brandon Sanderson. These are two novellas in one fairly short book, and yeah, let's get started. So as you guys know, Brandon Sanderson is one of my favourite authors. I cannot get that across enough. I love his work, I think he's amazing, and it never ceases to amaze me and surprise me that no matter what sort of thing he writes, I just tend to love it, and it's just so crazy how well he can write that I just enjoy it every time. And I've been in a little bit of a reading slump recently because of all the stuff that happened last month and just getting back into the swing of everything. So I didn't know what I wanted to read, and when I found this in Waterstones, I felt like I have been meaning to get this for ages, and it's so pretty, and I know that it's a really short book, so that's kind of why I hadn't bought it before, because I was worried that it was quite expensive for such a short book. However, I would say that this is 100% worth paying the price for, and I really loved it, and there is no way that I would ever regret buying it, because one of the stories in here I absolutely loved and the other one was really good as well. So highly recommend you guys pick this up if you haven't already, or if you've been putting it off because of the money, then get it online cheap. But it's so good, and I would definitely recommend this. So Legion is the first one in this novella collection, and it's basically the story of a guy who is called Stefan Leeds. He's basically schizophrenic, and he has all sorts of different hallucinations in his mind, and they're really cool. These hallucinations that he has in his head are insanely awesome. They are basically so intelligent. Each one of them has their own sort of area of specialty where they excel, and he has people such as JC, who is one of his hallucinations, probably the most annoying one, who he doesn't really get on with a lot of the time, but they just are really funny together. And JC is an expert in soldiers and army and defence and attack and all that sort of thing. He loves guns, he especially loves attacking people and just having defence plans and all sorts of things like that, and he's just a really funny guy. He's also very lovable, he's really charming, and he's just quite a funny, troublesome guy who lives inside of Stephen's brain, and it's just really funny to see all of these different characters who all have their own sort of unique abilities, such as Ivy. She is basically very good at picking up on people's emotions and interrogation and things like that, and it's just really cool. I love the idea, I think it's really interesting. It's kind of like a detective story. It starts off with us getting introduced to the characters who are all amazing, and then we go on to see that there is actually a plot behind this, and we need the characters to help Stephen investigate this problem that's been going on, and investigate and find out how he can solve this mystery of this missing item. And it's just really lovely. It was only about 70 pages, this story, so it's quite short, but I can definitely see this being made into a future series, and I do believe that Sanderson is actually currently writing or just finishing up Legion Skin Deep, which I feel like it's going to be a second one. I'm not sure if it's a short story or a novella or an actual full-length novel, but I know that it comes out sometime later this year, I believe, and I'm just really excited because I only found that out today just after reading this, and that was really cool. So I definitely think that this could be a really interesting story. I felt like it was definitely a good setup for a series, so I hope that it does continue and we see more from it in the future, because this world was pretty cool, and this idea was really interesting to see sort of inside the mind of hallucinations and schizophrenia and things like that. It was really interesting, and it definitely opened a whole new mindset onto that and just made me think about it more, and was really cool. So I would definitely recommend it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really good. I feel like I would have loved to see a lot more from this world, which is why I only gave it 4 stars, because I feel like it could easily go on to bigger and better things. So hopefully that will happen in the future. Now moving on to the second novella in this, which is called The Emperor's Soul. This is the story of Shay. Shay is basically a young forger. A forger is someone who can take an item or an object or a person, and they can, provided that they know as much of the history as possible and that they know an awful lot about how the object views itself or how the person views themselves, then they can basically turn whatever this object currently is into something new or into something from their past, based off of how well they know the object and so on. It's quite hard to explain, but it's really an interesting concept. It's basically remodelling and repurposing things for new or previous uses, and it's just so interesting. It's really creative, and I love the idea. Immediately I fell in love with this world. I thought it was really beautifully written. I loved the main character. She's a strong heroine. The story begins with her infiltrating the palace to try and steal and replace a painting with a forged version. Although she is a thief and she is not perhaps morally sound in some areas, she has good reason, and she is a character that we root for straight away and that we fall in love with straight away. And I just loved the complexity of this story, considering how short it was. I thought it was really good, really well put together. The fact that she has to try and escape while she's also working on a major project was just wonderful, and I felt like it was really lovely to see more into the details behind how it all worked. I thought it was really charming. I would highly recommend this story, and I wish that this was a longer book, because I always say that with short stories that I read by Sanderson. I wish they were longer because I absolutely adore living in his worlds, and I think that this is one of the best ones I've ever come across. Out of all of the short fiction that I've read by Brandon Sanderson, which is a fair amount, I absolutely loved this. I thought it was definitely one of the best, if not the best, short story I've ever read by him, and I would love to see more from this world. I think it's absolutely amazing. 5 out of 5 stars. I cannot rave more about that one. That one was utterly stunning, and this one was a longer story of the two. It was about 150 odd pages, so it's quite long compared to the other one. So on the whole, I ended up giving this book as a whole 4.75 stars. I know that's really awkward. I could not decide between 4 and 5, because although I loved the second one so much and it was 5 stars, the first one was only 4, and because the length consideration had to be taken into account too, I definitely felt that the only thing I could do was give it 4.75. So 4.75, but still a really amazing rating. So this is 100% worth picking up if you love Sanderson. I would definitely recommend this. I would love to know what you guys think of it. If any of you have read this, or if any of you are just interested in knowing more about it, then please leave me comments down below, because I would love to talk to you guys about it. I think this is really cool, and I definitely feel like I'm not in a reading slump at all anymore, because reading this has completely cheered me up and made me so much happier and made me just want to go into more and more of his books. So I have actually just picked up Warbreaker by Sanderson, and I am reading this currently as well. I know it wasn't on my TBR, neither of these were. My TBR this month has completely gone to pot. But yeah, I'm loving Sanderson right now, so please let me know what you guys think of this, and I will see you all very soon in my next video. Bye! Me and you gonna have a little chat about the